All right, so we're just going to look at the central tendencies and how to find them. We're going to be doing this later with our own data that we collected from class yesterday. But let's go through and make sure that we know how to find central tendency, so mean, median, mode. We're going to look at the range. We're also going to look at the variation, measure variation. There we go. Okay, so first, the mean is just the average. So to calculate the mean, you're going to add up all the data points that you have, divide by the number of data points. So looking here, find the mean of the test scores. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 data points or 8 scores. So we're going to add those all up and then divide by the number that we have, so which would be 8. All right, so when you add these all up, your sum is equal to 600. Okay, so then your mean is going to equal 600 divided by our total amount, which was 8. There were 8 test scores, so to find the average, we're going to divide the sum by 8. And when you do that, you're going to get 75%. Okay, so there we found a mean. We just took the sum of all our data points and then divided by the number of data points, which here was 8. Okay, using the same data points, we now want to find the median. The median is the middle number of the data set. Now, if there is no middle number, so if you have an even number, there's not going to be an exact middle. So we have 8 test scores, so there's no exact middle. But we can take our 4th and 5th data point, add them together, and divide by 2. So looking at the test, you come over here. So, whoops. These are 2 middle points. So we're going to add them together. 73 plus 82. That's going to equal 155. So then our median is going to equal 155 divided by 2. Okay, which when you take 155 and divide by 2, you're going to get 77.5. So notice this one wasn't a value out of or in the list of our test scores, but it would be right in the middle of our 2 middle test scores. Okay, so once again, you add the 2 middle ones up. And then just divide it by 2. Okay. Next one is the mode. So the mode is just the item in a data set that occurs most often. You can have more than one mode, or you might not have a mode at all. So looking at the data, what test scores appeared twice? Well, you have 173 and the second 73. Other than that, there's no repeating test scores. So that makes it easy. Our mode is equal to 73. Appears twice. Okay, so that's the one we have most often, so that is our mode. Okay, so measures of variation. So another tool we can use here. So the measure of variation, which is looking at the range. Okay, so what is your minimum value, your maximum value, and then to find your range, you're just going to take your maximum and minus it from your minimum. So looking at the test scores, When you have it in order, it makes it really easy. Our minimum is 34. Our maximum is 97. So to find our range, we're going to take 97 minus 34. And what we get here is that there is a range of 63 points. So from our least score to our highest score, there's a difference of 63. Okay, and then the last thing we look at is outliers. So is there something that doesn't seem to really fit in with the data that's out there? So looking at the test scores, that 34 is an outlier. Okay, it's 30 points away from the closest, the next closest test score, where the rest are all fairly close. Now 64 is further away from 97, but there's a number of values in between that it is fairly close to. So the only outlier here would be 34. Okay, and yeah, as it says here, an outlier can throw off the mean of the data set and give a skewed portrayal. Because if you think about it, if we took out that 34, one that bumps our median to 82, and then our average would be, well, 600 minus 34, so 566. And now we divide that by 7. You're looking at an average score of around 80%. Okay. So I'm just going to go through a few of these down here. This is just give us a couple more examples. So it gives a list of numbers. So looking at screen time for students, here's all the data points. And so to find the mean, you add them up, divide by the number, which is 9. So there was 9 students pulled here. So 35 divided by 9, that gives us roughly about 3.4 hours. 3.9 hours is the average time spent. When we line them up 1 through, or least to greatest, this one is 9, it's not a number, so there is an exact middle, and that would be the 4, so our median is that 4 value. The mode, the number that appears twice. Now you'll notice that 2 appears twice, 4 appears twice, but 5, so 5 appears 3 times. That one appears the most, so that is our mode. Our maximum and our minimum, so our least value is 1, our max is 17. So now to find the range, we just take our max minus our min. 17 minus 1 equals 16. Okay, and then once again on this one, there is an outlier at 17. No one's really even close to that. That's just one student. And so that is the outlier. That's skewing the data a little bit, making it seem like more students are spending more than the 4 hours on, or I guess they're not spending quite 4 hours, but it raises the value a lot higher than it probably would be without that 17. All right, so we found our outliers. Next one, so this one's going to be very comparable to what we did at the very beginning with the test scores. We have a number of test scores. There's 10 altogether here. We add them up and we divide by 10. So that gives us the average score was 77.8%. Okay, to find the median, once again, you line them up from least to greatest. There's 10 values. That's an even number. So once again, we're not going to have an exact middle. So we're going to take the 2 middle terms, the 5th and the 6th term, add them together, divide by 2. So here we get 163. We divide that by 2 and we get 81.5 for our mode. Maximum, minimum, our least score is 38. Our max score is 100. So to find our range, we're going to take our max minus our mid. That's going to give us 62. So there's a difference of 62 points from our least score to our greatest score, from the lowest score to the highest score. Okay, and then once again for outliers, that 38, once again, it's pretty far from the lowest score, so that would be our only outlier.